Hey everyone, so this tutorial is all about how to use Dreamweaver, and this is part one of a series, hopefully. So what I'm asking you to do is follow along with me step by step, pause and play the video and create as I'm creating, and hopefully what we'll be able to do by the end of it, using Dreamweaver, the purpose of it is that it makes it easier and quicker for you to write your code, even quicker than Sublime was. And also it makes it easier and quicker for you to write your CSS as well, so that then you can create something that actually looks good quite effectively. This website here, which is kind of the example of what it is that we're going to do, was created in like an hour, 2 hours, as well as me learning how to use the program. So in saying that, let's get started. We're going to start off by, you will have like a panel that doesn't have anything on it, obviously. If you just go up to File and then New, we have lots of options here. We are wanting to create a new document, and what I would expect is when you are producing your final product, you start with new as well, okay? But we have starter templates and site templates that could potentially inspire you. We also have Bootstrap, which I'm going to get into in part 2. But for now, we want new document, HTML file, title your document. So I'm going to say it is Miss D's example Dreamweaver website. This will be the title of my website itself, so what will appear in the browser name. Then HTML5 as is, we don't have a CSS to attach, then we're going to go create. And what we have here is, this panel here is our live browser per se. My computer's being a bit glitchy, so if I was to type in the classic hello world, which isn't working, but there we go, got 3 L's now. Then you will see up here it has typed it in kind of seamlessly in above. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that. We then, obviously, I'm typing into code right here. It's already given us like a basic layout. This is what Dreamweaver does. We then have on the side here some tools. I have not used many of these as of yet, so we're not going to use them as often. I'm not saying that they're not important though. We have our general like file, window, so on and so forth, so that'll be useful as well. But the main parts we're going to be using is 1, 2, and this panel that's here on the side, okay? So let me talk you through this real quick. What we have here, the file section, is essentially where this is showcasing where my previous website is saved, so we'll change that up in a second. We've got CSS libraries. Now, we're not really going to need to use those. We actually can't use those because of the school's setup. We then have insert. I'll tell you about that in a second. And we then also have CSS designer. I'll tell you about that when we start adding CSS. All right. Okay. So before we really get too started though, we need to save our work. You need to save it in a folder that you're then not going to move it from. So same deal as we would when we're creating a normal HTML file, okay? So I'm just looking to see, I guess that's probably what you're seeing. What we're going to do at the moment, it says untitled and it's got this asterisk that's telling me that it's not saved. I'm going to go File, Save As. We want to save it. Now previously I saved mine on my desktop. In saying that though, we don't want to save it on our desktop on our school computers, which is what we're using. I strongly recommend find your H drive and save it in there. You know what, I might even do that with this right now if it's working. No, it won't be. So I'll save mine in my digital media folder. You save yours in your H drive. Okay, so I'm going to call it Dreamweaver. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to call it that. I'm going to call it Miss D's Dreamweaver. What did I call my title? Dreamweaver. So I have called it the same name that my title is down here. then within it, this first file that we're going to be creating is going to be called index, okay, because it is our starting page essentially. So, and I've got that .html, I'm happy, go save. All right, and then what we should have over here on the side is manage sites. So what we're going to do once we've saved it, we're going to manage this section so that then it's only showing us the folder that we've saved it in. So what we're going to do, yours should have nothing here at all. Mine's got something purely because I have already created a website. I'm going to go new site, okay? New site meaning new location that our folders are saved in. Now, and then, what did I just do there? I pressed on the browse for folders, and I'm going to scroll up and find that folder that I have saved all of my work in so far. So this Miss D's example, and I'm going to select that folder. So that folder is selected. This one here, I'm going to write in again Miss D's example Dreamweaver website. And then I'm going to go save. Okay, so then if I've got this selected, so Miss D's, then I'm going to go done, and then it will showcase to me that kind of file pathway. And as we add more and more to our websites in our coming part 1, part 2, and so on and so forth, you will see more files added in here. Okay, now what we're going to do, now that we've all saved, we're all good, we're happy, we're going to start adding in our HTML content. So what we want to probably start off with is a heading, a H1, then we'll add a subheading and maybe some body paragraph. Now what we could do is we could physically type in like all of our code, and we can choose it that way, or we can, yep, there we go, I complete it and then it adds in the backend tag, and I could type in, but I want to show you a hopefully easier way depending on, I guess, your preference. So if you go to insert here on the side, make sure you're on HTML. We have a bunch of HTML inserts that are the generic ones that you can click on and then it'll just add. So if we scroll down, no, maybe I missed it. Oh, there it is. Heading, there it is. So if we go heading 1, it will add it in for me automatically, and it's added in the content. I'm going to write my name, so I'm going to write Miss Dawson. You're going to write your name in full. All right. Okay, so that's what I'm starting off with. Then I'm thinking I need a subheading. I could go a H2, a H3. H3 sounds good. What's something that people need to know about me? In the last one I wrote, I am the best digital media teacher, web design teacher ever, which we all know is not true. This time I'm going to write something about Dreamweaver, so I am going to say Dreamweaver makes coding so easy! Exclamation mark. Alright, and then we also, well, I also think that we need a paragraph, so I could type in P, or I can just add in a paragraph here. Now the other thing that I could add is some Laurel Ipsum. I'm pretty sure to do that. Yes, so if you go to snippets down the bottom here, we have a bunch of different snippets that we can add in, but the one that I'm concerned about is the Laurel Ipsum. They're essentially just like keyboard shortcut kind of things that you can copy and paste in. So what you're after is this little code here that's on the side for any of them, and I'm going to click on it, copy it, Control C, and then I'm going to paste it into the content. Now, once you've pasted it, you must press tab, and then it's going to type out that random gibberish code for me, which is what I was after. All right. So you can see that this is my basic HTML that I have here. All right. Now, before we move into the next step, anytime that you're creating websites, I would always encourage you to add in your semantic tags as well. So the semantic tags are just here. We can see that. Oh, navigation. We might add in some navigation as well. So I might add that above the heading, the header, which I should name as a header. So maybe I can do that first. The way that I'm going to go about that, I'm either going to click on the front. Let's see if that works. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it does. No, it doesn't. What you're going to do to create your semantic tags is highlight the content that you want to have contained within, and then you select. We don't need to add a class just yet. We might do that later. And then we're going to go, okay, there we go. And then we've got our header that is wrapped around the heading. Now, I was excited about the navigation beforehand. I'm going to add that in. So all I'm going to do is click navigation. Don't need a class, and then content goes here. I'm thinking for my page, I want an about, just a space. I want a, what do I want? Sales, portfolio, contact me, maybe just contact. All right, so I got 4. So I have a navigation, I have a header so far. Let's add in more. I am thinking that the H3 and the paragraph can go in the same section. So I'm going to highlight both of those sections and make sure I've got all of my tags correct. And then I'm going to, choose, shall I do section or should I do a side? I think later on I'm going to move that to the side of the web page. So I'm going to select a side for that one. Again, these are just words at this stage. We've got to add in the detail later on down the track. And then I think I also need a footer, so I'm going to add that in down the bottom. I will select footer here on the side, and again, okay, that's fine. Content goes here. My content is going to be copyright 2022 because that's the year that I've made it, full stop. Website made with blood, sweat and tears, something like that. Okay, all right. So I now have, if we look at my sections, a navigation section, a header, a side, and a footer. Awesome. Okay, so now that I've got those parts, I can start adding some CSS because I don't know about you, but I think that this looks a bit boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the CSS designer side of things, okay? We need to have, I guess, our cursor or something highlighted within our body. I think it is. I had trouble with this last time I did it. I knew it was funny, so I just had another look. Yeah, you definitely need to click on the body because that's where we're adding our CSS. Now, if this plus isn't coming up, then you're having a problem. So just toggle it back on and off, maybe highlight the body and then come back, but you want to be selected there, all right? Then press the add CSS source, and we want to create a new CSS file. So we are going to call this, well, first of all, we need to save it somewhere, so we're going to do that. So I want it in my Miss Dawson example CSS. Why don't I make a new folder while I'm at it? So I'll call that CSS. My file name, once I'm in there, is going to be styles.css. And then we are going to go OK or save. Sorry, I had a bit of a problem there, so I had to change the name of my CSS file. And then what you should have is essentially that like name of whatever it was that you called it under sources. Now I'm just going to double click on snippets, that grey panel, just so I minimize that so I can see more of these next parts. So once we've got styles, then we're going to have a look at these other sections. Now media, we don't need that yet, so we're going to minimize that essentially. We do want selectors though. So what we've essentially done by creating our different, I guess, semantic tags is we have created the opportunity to then add more specific selectors. Now, I want to start us off with the body because I'm thinking let's do a background color to begin with. So I'm going to add a selector. Now, because I had selected body, I clicked on body before I pressed plus in selector. It has assumed what I want, which is body. It is correct. Once you click on the selector of your choice, then properties will come up down here. Now, I'm not going to lie, this can be a little bit confusing. Let me explain it to you. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, really 4 different property, I guess, changes that you can make, or different types of property changes. They are essentially all of your CSS laid out neatly in this pile where it will, you essentially like pick and choose what it is that you want to do, and it will create in the background a style sheet for you. So what we're going to do is we are going to, so this first one is layout, text, border, and background. That's one that we want, so we're going to click that. Now you can scroll up and down and then you'll go back into the other parts. So again, I've scrolled back up to layout. These are just like essentially quick drag kind of things to get you to the spot that you want. So I'm thinking to begin with, let's change our background color. Let's make it a nice pastel purple, because you know, my favorite. Change it to whatever you want. Then once I've done that, I'm going to click off and it should change it automatically. Interesting. Alright, I just had a bit of a moment. I think it's because I created a couple of different style sheets. So if you're not aware, up the top here you should have your initial file, which is your index, and then within it you should have essentially source code, which is your HTML, which will appear when you select that, and we also have our styles for you .css, which will have your style sheet. I had too many of these and I deleted some. The other thing that I had to check though was what was the link for my CSS. So even though Dreamweaver is amazing and it does everything for you essentially, you need to be aware that you essentially could have to problem solve like I just did to make sure that it has written the code as you want it. Okay, getting back to what we were doing beforehand though, so I'll go back to my CSS. I'll make sure that I've selected my style sheet.css and I've come down to, no, I don't need selectors and properties. Okay, then if I go back to my background, I have my background color and now it is working. Now if I wanted to, I could add in a gradient as well. I can't be bothered with that. What I am thinking that I might like to do though is I might like to add in an image. So I'm going to find a random image from on my computer, a background image. Beforehand I had one of my artworks. Why not do the same? Let's go this one here, or actually no, let's go the coronavirus plant. Okay, so I've selected one. Now it's not from the folder that I saved my original like root documents to. So yeah, is essentially asking me, do I want to copy this image over into the original root folder? Yes, I do, and I'm going to create a new folder within that is images, and then I'm going to save my picture in there. And then what we have is the image has been applied to the background. One thing that I haven't shown you, and we'll fix up the image in a second. For now though, if you go File, Save All, if you are asked to save anything specifically, then do it. Just make sure that you save it in the root folder. And then what we're going to do, now it's criminal as far as I'm concerned that there's no keyboard shortcut for either of these things. If you want to find one, go for it. Try Googling, and then we're going to go real-time preview and then choose your browser of your choice. My preference is Chrome, so I'm going to open it up like so. And then hopefully what we will be able to see, my computer's doing too many things at once clearly, is a live preview of, even though we have a live preview already, you should be seeing on your screen a live preview of your browser. I'm going to flick back because clearly that's not working for me today. There it is. Wonderful. Okay, you saw that flash of purple to begin with, then we've got my text, and then we've got my image as well. Now, clearly this text isn't doing it for me, so I need to, I guess it'll be within my body again. I need to change my text coloring. So the way that I'm going to do that is, I have forgotten. Alright, there is a text function, should have known that. Okay, so first part of the text function is the colour, so I'm going to change it to white. You are able to add swatches in here, particularly useful if you're selecting specific colours. So I'm thinking full white text. Now, now that I've done that, I'm thinking let's change up the rest of the font color. Before we do that though, let's come back down to our background. Is there anything else that we need to change here? My background attachment, I probably don't want my background to scroll. I want my text to scroll down. So I'm going to make my background image fixed so it stays exactly where it is. And then that way I can see more of it, hopefully. If I go File, Save All, File. Again, this is why this is useful, so that then you can preview it in Chrome and see what it is that we're referring to. Again, that's going to take forever to load. Come on. And because I don't have enough text, I'm not able to scroll. Cool. Okay, alright, anyway. I'm also thinking that I want to change the size, and I'm going to make it cover, so it's across the edge, and then that way if the, I guess, platform that I'm looking on it on changes, so it's larger or smaller, then my image will get larger or smaller rather than just like, I guess, being super cropped in. Okay, you can play with a number of these other things as well, but I think for now that's everything. I'm happy it's covering everything, but I can see the entire image and it's fixed. Okay, back up to the text. So we've got white text now, so I'm happy with that. Let us add in different font though. So for that, we want font family. We have a range of fonts here to choose from. Again, like XD, they don't show you a sample, which annoys me. What we can also do though, so there's literally what, only 10 here or so. If you go manage fonts, it gives you access to all of Adobe's kind of font selection. So what I suggest you do, you click the tick button on any that you think that you might like. I might like that one, I might like that one. You can also select different, I guess, like genres of font or typefaces as they are better known. I might like that one, I might like that one, no I don't. And so on and so forth. I would suggest get about 5 or 6 that you can play with in a second. And then maybe I'll get a cursive one as well. It might be nice if my name was in cursive or in that. Yep, cool, okay, that's nice too. Then I'm gonna go done, and then if I go to the font family again, here's all of the fonts that I have just trialed. So what I'm thinking is all of my font, let's just do a blanket in the body. I'm thinking maybe let's trial this one. See it load in real time maybe. Hopefully the school computers aren't as slow with this stuff. I have a feeling that my computer is not liking it because I am trying to run Dreamweaver and my screencast at the same time. But as you can see, my text is not changing. Is it perhaps because my selector is not selected? I don't believe so. But again, this is the problem-solving stuff that you need to do while you are doing this. For me, what it is my computer's lagging behind. So when I'm clicking on any of these, it's not changing, it's not registering. However, it was working for me last night, so hopefully it is working for you. For now, for this purpose, I'm just going to choose one of the fonts that is the generic ones. So I have selected a slightly different font, but I am not vibing it for my title. I'm not liking it for the name. So this is when we need to create a new selector. I'm going to go to my header and I'm going to press the plus on selector. So we have now body header. Now it's been too smart for its own good. I just want all of my headers to be like this, because if I had multiples, then I want them all to be the same text type. So I'm going to scroll down to my text. I still want it white. I want my font probably none of these, to be honest, but so be it. Gorgeous. Okay, now the size, considering it's a H1, it's not that large actually, so I am thinking that I want to change my size to extra large. better. I also want to change my font weight to bolder. You get the idea. What I want you to do, I'm going to keep playing quickly, but I want you to also play. So I'm going to then, once I've adjusted this, I'm also thinking I'm going to center align that part of the text. I might, if I wanted to, I could underline it or put a line through. I don't want to do that at this stage. I'm then going to move on to the next one. So let's do the aside. No, let's not do the aside next. Let's do the H3 for me. So I'm going to add that as a selector. Now I want this text. Yes, get rid of that. Too smart. I want this text to be same font family as the one that was there previously. I just want its weight to be bolder. Even bolder. Nope, I can't do even bolder. Maybe I want it to be underlined because it's really important. Maybe I could put it in italics as well. Okay. Then I'm going to, I think, change my copyright as well. So I will add that in as a selector. You just want a footer. Then once I've got that, I'll go to text. Now this text, I want it to be the same type of font family. I just want the size to be extra small, as a footer would be. And then there we go. Okay. One more thing. Maybe not. Maybe yes. I think I also want the footer to be centered. Okay. All right. So I've modified my text a little bit, as you can see. Next step, once you're happy with your text, would then to be adjusting layout to a certain extent.